All right, welcome to this week's episode of Newcastle Muso Talk. I'm your host, Simon Threadgate. Apologies for the episode being so late to go live. My wife and I had our little baby on Tuesday night, and we've both pretty much had our hands full with this adorable little bundle that just keeps on crying. So sleep is in short supply, but I've grabbed a moment to record the introduction to the episode and get it online. The guest this week is Helena Kitley, who sang in Steely Divas locally, Glam Slam as well, and her solo appearances around the places and recordings under her own name. She has a really huge voice, a lot of cool blues vibes, real powerful presence. She's featured up on the wall at the Wicklow Park Hotel there in a cool framed photo on the wall display they've got there, and she plays there pretty regularly. If you see her name coming up there or anywhere really, go and see her. You will not be disappointed. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Newcastle Muso Talk and find us at newcastlemusotalk.home.blog. We're also on iTunes and the Apple iPod app. If you listen via one of those services where you can leave a review and you like the show or otherwise, just let us know, rate the show, or get in touch via the Facebook show if you want to have a say or suggest someone that we really should interview. You know, if you've got someone in mind who you'd like to hear a conversation with, we've got a few concepts we're going to have a look at in terms of who we get on the show, but we'll keep in touch with that. We're trying to get it regularly again, every Wednesday, a new episode. I've already got interviews in the can with Tim Clack from Schlauncher and Porn Logic. I've got with Kevin Bull, who's a prolific live photographer and runs live music photographer. He runs Reverb Street Press, which exists at reverbstreetpress.com. Had a goodly run as a paper street press there after the U-turn, and Marcus Wright also we're doing an interview with Big Apache there, and at the Wicklow Park Hotel he works there, and I've done some work for him on the soundboards there. Top bloke Marcus, and we just had a chat about again what we do with everyone, have a chat about the scene, how we got involved in it, where he sees it going, and he's involved with a lot of changes in the town with the task force that's in place with the council, so we'll keep abreast of that as well. But anyway, we'll always keep everything updated by the Facebook page. Today's guest, Helena Kitley, a lovely person. She did the flowers at my wedding, and she played a killer acoustic version of Love Gun by Kiss. Go and see her live where you can. Buy her album or stream via the regular places. Links will be in the episode description. Enjoy the show. Started.
Right.
So the first question I usually start with, what's the music that you were raised on? What's sort of your musical background, raised on by your parents? What was the music you heard as a kid?
Well, my mum and dad had a record collection, and they had a lot of Steely Dan and Boz Scaggs and Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
But stuff on the radio, that sort of thing, growing up in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you always sing along? Was it how early did you know you could hold a tune?
Oh, I pretty much wanted to be a singer for as long as I can remember. Pretty much as soon as I was talking, I was singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, making up my own little songs and that sort of thing.
Who were the big voices of your childhood that you remember really being inspired by or aspiring to?
Oh, wow. So probably Bowie, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's funny, like, thinking back the early years, very much like male singers, I think, were influential. It wasn't sort of until I was older that I was into more female singers. Yeah.
Who was that first female singer that sort of opened your eyes to that?
I think Erykah Badu.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. And what was sort of your transition into your own musical taste? When did you sort of get away from what your parents had been listening to into, like, what were the bands that really started you on that path of this is, tickling my ear the right way?
I think probably, like Guns N' Roses.
Yep, nice.
And, probably Nirvana, Chili Peppers.
Yeah. The whole 90s alternative.
Yeah, definitely.
Feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What's a short list of the bands that you've been in, or that people might know you from? What's some?
Okay, so
Like you're fairly well known as a solo artist locally, yeah. Like I don't know, fairly well known, but it's.
Let my feet softly touch the ground as I let myself gently come back down. Things begin to swiftly realign as I figure out I'm coming back to time. I let myself a one-off getaway where you never know, I might just wanna stay. Let my feet softly touch the ground as I let myself gently come back down. Eyelids dissolving into sweet, sweet sleep.
Oh, well, okay, so I guess the last few years there was Glam Slam and Steely Divas. And before that, yeah, it was very much centered around the original scene. So
Yeah.
my band was Boy Germs. And
Sounds very punk, was it?
no, not really, not
No.
really. But yeah.
Always in a singing capacity? Do you play? You play guitar as well, obviously.
Yeah,
Do you-
yeah, I play a bit of guitar and keys. And
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Did you have a favourite out of the bands that you've been in terms of, I don't know, the best music and the best time that you had?
No, I mean, like, they've all been good. Glam Slam was definitely a lot of fun with the whole dress-up side of things. And, yeah, doing that sort of music, it wasn't really something that I would have thought of doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, like, a lot of really good songs and, yeah, finding my voice in that kind of genre. And you know, Steely Divas, like, we did all Steely Dan.
Yeah.
And I was a backing singer in that, but you know, that was a lot of fun, really interesting songs, and yeah, it was very challenging putting that together, and you know, working with all the vocal harmonies and that sort of thing. Very interesting stuff.
Is there a big Steely Dan following in Newcastle?
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
you know, like, we did all right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you grow up locally, or you're an import, or?
Oh, so I grew up in a town called Coonabarabran, which is sort of west of here.
Yep.
Yeah, a few hours west, and yeah, so I moved to Newcastle when I was like 18, 19. Yeah.
What brought you this way?
So my partner at the time lived here, and yeah, just pretty keen to get out of Coona.
Had you already been playing music before you came to Newcastle?
Yeah.
At Coonabarabran, yeah?
Yeah. I'd been playing, you know, just by myself for a long time. Yeah.
Was there a scene in Coonabarabran where you could play, or?
Yeah, not really. You know, like,
Especially being underage as well, you know,
yeah,
I think
that's
that would
right.
be...
Like, through high school, we used to, you know, jam a little bit with our friends and in people's garages and that sort of thing. And I actually went to boarding school for year 11 and 12.
Yep.
So, yeah, so I played, that's pretty much what got me through boarding school, playing music. And
Did you get involved in the musical theatre and stuff like that at school?
no,
or?
not really.
No, just the tunes.
Yeah.
What was your first public performance that you did? What was that like? Was that at Newcastle? Your first time on a stage in front of people?
Yeah, pretty much. So I played in a band called Block Nostrils. And, you know, it was a bunch of original songs. I think our first gig was at the Hunter and Hunter.
Yeah.
And, you know, at that stage, I'd pretty much the only live performances that I'd done were as a soloist, and, you know, playing an acoustic guitar, and I really hated the sound of my voice, and singing in a microphone and hearing the sound of my voice coming back. You know, it's like, oh, is that what I sound like? Like, oh. But so yeah, we did this gig. And I was struggling big time singing in a microphone. It was probably pretty terrible, but yeah, that was a funny band.
It's a hell of a venue too, the 100 there.
Yeah, classic old venue.
It
Yeah,
was great. I remember there was a fan up on the roof that was only sort of like half attached, and when it would spin around,
Oh yeah,
you'd be waiting for the roof to cave in.
pretty much.
But do you have a musical family? Were you brought up musically, or
Yeah, so Dad was a musician.
Yep.
So it was always kind of around, and
he just played locally at Coonabarabran?
no. So before that, I moved to Coonabarabran when I was 9. And, yeah, so before I was born, Dad was playing around in bands in Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are from Sydney. And, yeah, it was sort of not long after my sister and I were born that he kind of had a bit of a break from it.
Mm-hmm.
But music was still around in our household. We always had guitars and instruments around.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the current projects that you're doing at the moment? What's your current focuses in terms of...
So yeah, there's a couple of projects which I don't really want to give away at the moment, but also
some mystery.
yeah, but also the original front. I'm just focusing on writing some songs for another album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
A solo album again, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do you prefer being a solo artist or in a band, or
Oh, both. Yeah.
both have got their
Both,
different
I think. Yeah.
elements? Yeah, cool. Are you always looking for new things to do, or you...
I think so. Hey, like I I look at how busy life is, and without music even.
Yeah.
And then there's always something going on with music these days, some little project or band or
Yeah.
something, and I always seem to be thinking, oh yeah, I want to do this
do
this
that.
little project, and yeah, so I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
I'm a glutton for punishment or something.
Do you have is it a goal, or was it ever a goal to do music as what you do? Is that...
Like a full-time
Yeah,
thing.
to rely on music essentially to pay your way through, I guess.
I think, honestly, I've probably always been a little bit afraid of that, of having to rely on it and
Of
having
letting go
it,
and not having that
yeah,
safety net.
but also there having to be so much pressure on that, and
Yeah.
it becoming something that I didn't enjoy.
Becomes work
Yeah.
instead of what you enjoy.
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
Yeah. All right. So that's our general background there. When you first started getting out and doing gigs, how difficult was it to get your foot in the door and get gigs with blocked nostrils or with whoever you were?
To be honest, I think I've been lucky to have friends in
In the right places.
yeah, in the right places,
Yep.
and yeah, I don't know that all of the gigs that I've ever done have probably been, like great opportunities or
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But I in a way, like it is every gig is an opportunity for you to improve and to have that experience of playing in front of an audience, trying out new songs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
How long did you find it took you to get comfortable being in front of an audience with a microphone and throwing your voice out there?
Oh, it's still I'm still working on it. But
Is there an element with Glam Slam, because you're costumed up, where you can sort of let go a lot more than you normally would? Or?
yeah, I mean, I think that definitely kind of gives a bit of a different slant to it, where you're kind of hiding behind an alter ego, and
Yep.
you can kind of become something different, and yeah, you're a character. Then it's a different thing for sure. Yeah.
I guess Glam Slam would be sort of one of the better known bands that you're in locally. They seem to do fairly well when you were getting around regularly. I'd always hear, well, there was a good show and Glam Slam, you got to check this band Glam Slam out. Is that sort of...
Oh, cool.
Do you have a project, I guess, that you're most proud of that you've done, or do you think your best work is still to come? I mean, I guess most artists always say, well, my best is still to come. Have you sort of put out that thing that is most you, where you got to say things you wanted to say, or is that still to come?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I always I try to keep integrity about music that I create, and projects that I'm involved in. So But I don't know. Yeah, hopefully the best isn't behind me.
Yeah. You always got to have something to go for. I guess in terms of the local scene, the common wisdom is that people don't go out anymore and it's hard to get people out. Do you find that? How difficult is it to get people to engage on a regular basis with you as a performer? I guess not just your friends and family, but do you find that there's not many people going out, or that it's hit and miss? What's the...
Yeah, I think sometimes it's a bit hit and miss. You know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's packed. I suppose it just depends on a lot of things. Yeah, you know, even it just being like a crappy rainy night or really cold. Like sometimes the turnout, I guess, is a bit disappointing. But but I don't know. I think the live music scene is pretty much still
going,
still thriving.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So I often ask it, do you think there's been a shift in culture away from that valuation of music? Now you've got so many other options that you can do other than go out to a pub and watch a band. Do you feel that it's sort of losing that cultural, I don't know, cachet? Music just doesn't seem to be something that all that many people want to do, especially the younger generation, it seems. Or I don't know if it's just that I'm not going to the shows that younger kids want to go to. Or...
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think, there's definitely some younger people that are into that scene. But you know, times are changing and people are into different scenes, and there's a whole lot of different stuff out there. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, cool. How hard is it to balance that work life, music life, personal life outside of music? Do you find, is it a challenge, or is you welcome the challenge? You like to have all the balls up in the air at once? Sometimes
it is a challenge. I think, you know, when you get into a groove and you know, like writing or just creating and practicing and that sort of thing, and then getting back to reality and and responsibilities and that sort of thing. But
who's your favourite bands that you've seen around locally? Who's sort of your picks of the local bands on the scene at the moment?
Well, I've been seeing a fair bit of stuff at Five Sawyers lately. So one of the things I'm really excited about is the So What Supper Club. Yeah, that's been pretty cool. And
that's just that's at Five Sawyers where they just have an acoustic performer.
It's like it's a band, so they do sort of a bit of a jazz versus hip hop thing, and there's an amazing singer, Steph Russell, amazing young singer. She's awesome. I was completely blown away by her voice, and her original stuff is really good too. And I always like to go and check out stuff at Nema, at the Underground, at the Grand.
You're sort of around that jazz scene a fair bit, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And, you know, I like to go check out Adam Miller and,
What's your favourite venues to play at? Do you have any particular venues around town that you love? Or?
Oh, I love the Stag. That's a fantastic venue, and the Wicco, and you know, I think both those places are doing awesome stuff with
It's been a good
music.
resurgence there at the Stag. It sort of wasn't doing anything for a couple of years there, but over the last little bit, it really seems to have
I've seen
picked
some
up.
really good stuff there, and it's definitely a great place to play at.
Yeah, they've put some money and time into the front room there as well to make it sound good. I guess, sort of touching back on doing music as a full-time thing, is it even logical to think that someone could do that now? Like, is that a possibility, do you think, that someone can make a living playing music on a regular basis without touring around the country or just hitting the pub scene and doing those covers gigs every week? Is there another way to do it, or is it even silly to think that you should be able to pay your bills making original music locally?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think, that's right. There's work out there and that sort of thing, and
I guess it's just more you take away from it as an artist, yeah. What you,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
With I find with music it's sort of it's mostly a demand for content these days, because you sort of do, oh, here's our 4-track EP, and then the next week you've sort of, it's months or years before you've got any new content.
Yep.
Are you always writing songs? Have you got stuff ready to go to record? How does that transition sort of look from you from compiling songs? Are you writing for an album each time, or are you just writing songs and put them where they fit from there?
I think, like, previously, previous to releasing my album, I was pretty much just writing songs whenever I could without any real thought of where it was going other than performing live.
Yep.
But I think since then, I'm keen to write for another album.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Same band again, put together? Are you try and keep those players together, or?
A couple of people have moved away and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of thinking about different projects as well. And, yeah.
Do you see positivity in the future for the local scene? We've got all these changes around town, transport issues, all that sort of stuff. Do you think we'll come out better on the other side, or you want to be optimistic, obviously? Yeah.
But, yeah, but I don't know. I hope so. I think there's always potential for good things. So
yeah. How do you find work now? Are you putting together bands, or are you approached by people with any regularity to be involved in a project, or?
Oh, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a bit of involvement with some collaborations recently. So.
Secret projects on the boil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. With playing, is your plan just to play forever? You don't have a sort of a set date where you're going to go, well, I'm done by this point or anything like that. It's just, as far as you can see, you'll just keep going with it?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I guess it's a case of how long your voice can hold up, really, in terms of, because you've quite a powerful voice.
That's it. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think so. I mean, I hope I'm always singing, or at least playing music and creating things with people. I think that's a really important aspect of my life, and so many other musos as well. It's a little community, and I hope I'm still playing with some of these people in the future, and keep on doing it. I don't see any end point in it.
Yeah, cool. You find a lot of, I guess, musicians talk nowadays about mental health and things like that. How difficult is it to look after yourself, I guess, being a musician? Do you find that there's intrinsic sort of links with anxiety, depression, that sort of stuff? Is it, without digging too deep into your own personal history or anything too private or anything like that, do you find that there's, I guess, a link with being a creative person and having those sort of struggles? Or
I think it can be, there's definitely, I don't know if I could speak for everyone, but, being an artist or, a songwriter and putting yourself out there personally and sometimes wondering, what's the point?
What was it for?
Why am I doing this? And definitely sometimes a battle, with that desire to perform and share something with others, and sort of wondering, why you're doing this, and if other people are even getting anything out of it, and if that even matters, it's definitely sometimes.
Does that matter, that other people, I mean, it's a common thing, I guess, with musos to say, well, I'm so integrous and I don't care what other people's opinions are, but I guess music's essentially communication, and the point of communication is that someone takes that in.
Yeah.
Is that a consideration when you're putting a set list together or writing songs, or it's?
I think at the end of the day, when I write, it's a personal thing, and it is. I try to be true to myself and that feeling or issue or whatever. And I think, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all human, and there's going to be somebody that gets something out of it. And I think in a way that is important as an artist, that someone else can appreciate
some level of connection and validation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Have you found, we're in the Me Too era now, have you found any particular disadvantages or walls thrown up in front of you for being a woman musician or a female musician? I don't want to get the terminology wrong there.
Professionally, no, I don't think so. But I mean, definitely growing up, there was some, some stuff going on there with, being probably like the only girl hanging out with a bunch of guys jamming or playing music. Yeah, definitely. Like when I was in my teens, I was jamming with a bunch of guys, and we got offered a gig at a friend's party, and they ditched me for a guy bass player. And, I'd been jamming with them for months. Yeah. And,
they tell you beforehand, or did you just show up and you...
No, they told me beforehand. Yeah. They're like, oh, no, we're going to get this guy to play bass. I'm like, are you serious? I've been playing. Yeah, I've been jamming with you guys for like months. And, like, no, he's our friend. He's going to
be the celebrity for the night. So. Do you see a change in that happening now, or you sort of past that point where it really does affect you on a professional level?
I don't know. I tend to be oblivious to some of that stuff. I don't know. But honestly, like the people that I've been involved with have been like pretty cool. So it's not really an issue with the people that I've been involved with. So, cool. Yeah.
You got the Glam Slam reunion show coming up soon. That's in October.
Yes, that's exciting.
What spurred that on? Was it the whole band wanted to get back together, or a couple of people have floated it? Or
well, it's the guitarist's birthday.
Yep.
And so he gave me a call and said, "I'm thinking about doing this for my birthday. You keen?" I'm like, "Yep, let's do it." So
bust out all the old costumes again, and
for sure.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
I never saw Glam Slam. I heard tons about it, but I never got to actually see a show.
Well, make sure you're there. 20th of October at the Wico.
At the Wico. It's sort of a spiritual home ground by the sounds of things for you, the Wico there. You seem to play there fairly regularly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they've been very good to us there. So.
Yeah, cool. Not many other venues sort of, I guess, with that profile of the Wico locally anymore that support original music. What's your thought? I know there seems to be a lot, there's no live music around, but every pub you go to has somebody playing music in some capacity, whether it's a duo with a MIDI backer or something like that. Do you find that, is live music ever going to be endangered, or do people make too much of a fuss out of nothing?
I really hope not. I really hope it's not endangered because, it's important, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's not the same as, it's a different thing. There's different types of entertainment, I suppose, but that's definitely, like live music, I think is definitely one that you don't want to lose,
Yeah, definitely one that you'll look back on and go, well, why did we not keep that going?
Oh, I hope not.
Have you had much time out of Newcastle playing? Have you toured? Have you done much touring, anything like that?
No, not really.
Not something you're particularly interested in, or just didn't come up as an opportunity with the projects you've had?
I think, I was a single mother for a lot of this, so it wasn't really something that I pursued. It wasn't really something that I felt like I was able to do, or something that I pushed for. So do
you, obviously you don't regret spending that time with your daughter or anything like that, but do you have those moments where you're like, if only I'd... thrown it in early, gone harder earlier or anything like that, or are you quite happy? Are you satisfied, essentially, I guess, with the work that you do now, with the music that you make, and
yeah, I mean, definitely,
the reach you've got with it?
I definitely have, goals for the future. Yeah, but
Definitely not ready to pack in just yet.
yeah, for sure.
Cool. All right, that's everything I got there.
All right then.
Cool,
Thank
excellent,
you.
much appreciated. Thank you. From the start.